Tzu Chi volunteers in South Africa hold supply distribution for storm victims in Gauteng. Stem cell transplant recipients meet their donors at Tzu Chi Stem Cell Center's 24th anniversary. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Sue. Thank you for joining us. In South Africa, although it is early spring, storms have taken place in several regions. In Gauteng, storm and hail have devastated the local residences. After conducting disaster assessment, Tzu Chi volunteers went to Put Fountain of Benoni to hold aid supply distribution. In early spring, the weather is unstable in South Africa. A storm has devastated Gauteng on October 9th. On the third day after the storm, Tzu Chi volunteers went to assess damage in Put Fountain of Benoni. Among the metal sheet houses, many have lost their roofs, which are replaced by tarps.
There's no furniture inside. The furniture, the wind broke it. Yeah, we're living in this place now. We don't have beds and so on. We don't have even food to eat.
The condition of the brick houses is not any better.
There was no one here in the house.
So you all go out and work?
Yeah, no, we're not working.
You're not working?
We're going for shopping.
Oh, okay. So the storm coming.
So when the neighbors called me, said, hey, there's the stone, everything is messed up here.
After conducting disaster assessment, the volunteers have come to Omnism Primary School to distribute rice, blankets, and hygiene products to the affected residents.
About 150 households have been affected, with some losing their roofs or their houses, so they do not have a place to live. Therefore, the government has evacuated some of the local residents. When we came this morning, there were about 100 families here, and we quickly finished our distribution.
Besides households, this children's educational center has also been severely damaged, affecting the children's study.
As Nora's Educare Center, there are about 40 orphans. Today, we came to donate some rice, blankets, and toilet paper for their immediate needs. In the future, we might offer long-term help.
The school has accepted the supplies, and the children expressed their deepest gratitude to the volunteers. In Guatemala, mudslides caused destruction in Censor El Durazno of Palencia on October 1st. Upon learning that 24 households there are in need of help, city government officials and city volunteers conducted a disaster assessment. This mudslide has destroyed a wall in Gloria Hernandez's house. At the time of the disaster, Hernandez and her family were away on a trip. However, her neighbor, who's a young mother, is not as lucky.
I don't know how old she is. She is about 24 years old. Her son, who was buried by the mudslide, is 1 year and 7 months old.
This is Censor El Durazno of Palencia. Upon learning that a mudslide took place here and 24 families are in need of help, city government officials and city volunteers are conducting disaster assessment. Coffee is planted across the river where the villagers work for a living. Led by city government officials, volunteers cross the river to understand the needs of the villagers. Since the villagers' houses are built with metal sheets or corn stalks, they cannot resist the devastation caused by the heavy rain. After the mudslide took place, mountain roads are filled with mud and debris. Volunteers overcome difficulties to record the needs of every household. After assessing damage, the volunteers plan to distribute aid supplies this week, helping the villagers get through the tough times. In the United States, Miami City volunteers have held a third disaster relief distribution for residents affected by Hurricane Irma in Naples, Florida. At the event, they helped a total of 265 households, giving out blankets and cash cards.
The residents affected by Hurricane Irma are waiting in line at the community center in Naples.
Good morning, everyone.
Tzu Chi volunteers have come to help the affected residents, bringing them relief goods.
Made out of 100% recycled plastic bottles. It takes about 70 bottles per blanket.
Since Naples is located by the sea, the hurricane devastation is severe. This time, the volunteers are helping mostly Hispanic workers. Therefore, the translation volunteer team plays the key role. At the event, there is also a magic show. A total of 265 households have been helped, each receiving blankets and cash cards. Collier County Commissioner has declared October 10th as Tzu Chi Day. At the event, she also brings the medal for Tzu Chi for their outstanding community service.
And special recognitions of the Tzu Chi Foundation for extraordinary efforts. Helping our community to recover after Hurricane Irma.
Tzu Chi volunteers from Orlando also join the efforts to help the affected residents. Coming from Miami, Orlando, and the local area, a total of 86 volunteers have given the affected residents the support to rebuild their lives.
Over 200,000 homes in Texas of the United States were destroyed because of Hurricane Harvey. While many victims hope for a speedy rebuilding process, funding from the government is not as fast as hope. FEMA aid can take anywhere from 1 month to 4 months. Let's take a look at the rebuilding process.
Personally, when we had the flood, it broke my heart because I knew the people had repaired their homes. It took them a long time to do that, you know, and then they get another flood.
Opening his front door, Wu Lianshan takes us on a tour of what is left of his home. He had just spent $240,000 remodeling it, and now it is completely gone.
This used to be the living room. There was a TV there and 2 bookshelves. The flood toppled and destroyed everything. We had a big dining table which floated as well.
When the flood hit his home, his family escaped to the roof, and thankfully no one was harmed. While most are thankful they got out of the flood alive, the journey of rebuilding is still filled with obstacles.
Honestly, the most help probably is with our home, you know, just fixing that, rebuilding it, and getting it back to normal. You know, like I said, FEMA gave us some help, but, you know, it's not even anywhere close to enough to try and rebuild our life back to the way it was.
Hundreds and thousands of people are still on the waiting list for FEMA's assistance. But as Texas has only about 2,000 inspectors, applying and receiving FEMA's support is a long and arduous process.
FEMA inspectors will schedule a time with you to meet at your home. So no matter if you have moved elsewhere, staying at a friend's or a motel, you have to be there at the arranged time for the inspector to check your home. After the assessment, he will tell you how much money you will receive. This entire process takes about 1 month to 4 months' time.
Those Hurricane Harvey victims who are lucky enough to pass inspection can receive up to $33,300 in FEMA aid.
Families who receive the highest FEMA aid are most likely poor without any savings, receiving social benefits, and your home also doesn't have flood insurance either.
Government assistance during the rebuilding process takes years for the funding to reach the disaster victims.
From our last hurricane, it takes quite a while, years actually. We actually just finished up some funding we got from the federal government from Hurricane Ike, which was 9 years ago.
So it takes a while to get the funds. They did say they're going to try and make the system move a little bit faster.
I've never seen anything like it, and I've been told it will probably in the neighborhood of 2 to 3 years to recover and get everything halfway back to normal, you know.
The debris from the aftermath of the storm could be cleaned up in half a year, but the city and the home's repair work takes much more time and money. At the beginning of this rebuilding process, one finds patience to be the best virtue to keep in mind.
In Taiwan, a special ceremony was held at the Gauteng Jingsi Hall to celebrate the 24th anniversary of the Buddhist Tzu Chi Stem Cell Center. This year, 11 bone marrow stem cell transplant recipients fulfilled their wish of meeting their donors.
Bone marrow stem cell donors give patients a new life. This can be proved in 11 pairs of successful bone marrow transplant cases who attend a special meeting to meet each other.采緹, who has gone through several surgeries, expresses her gratitude with poems.
When we put the last word of each sentence all together, you can see my gratitude for the donor who saved my life.
采緹became a Tzu Chi volunteer last year as a way to repay the donor's love as well as to help other less fortunate people. The bone marrow stem cell donation is not just a privilege for young people. Even 60-year-old Lin Suzhen could save the life of Hong Lihen 7 years ago.
也是妈妈与妈妈的相遇啦，哈，感恩好，妈妈抱一下好了，好不好？
现在开始我有2位妈妈了。
Each donation saves the life of a whole family. Buddhist Tzu Chi Stem Cell Center, which was established in 1993, has 410,000 archive potential donors and has sent bone marrows to 31 countries. Among the 50,000 cases they are seeking pairing, 4,700 of them have successfully found a match.
花莲慈济医院几乎每一天都有捐赠者来到。
Almost every day, there are some donors coming to Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital to save a person they never knew. They give parts of their life to another life.
This year, some bone marrow recipients from Suzhou, China, and the United States have traveled from afar to meet the saviors. The touching moments of their meeting also prove the power of selfless love.
Also at the celebration for the 24th anniversary of Buddhist Tzu Chi Stem Cell Center, bone marrow stem cell donors and recipients from different parts of Taiwan met each other and shared some touching moments with the audience.
Squatting down to receive a hug is this woman because she donated her bone marrow to Chen Jiayan, who is only 10 years old.
We've been waiting for 6 years to meet each other in person. We feel very touched and excited because we can finally meet this savior.
To express gratitude to Chen's savior, 16 relatives and friends accompany her to attend the event. This young girl has gone through 2 transplant surgeries within 10 years. Thankfully, Tzu Chi volunteers are always by her side to accompany her.
From the moment when she was diagnosed with the disease until now, she has grown healthy, moving all the volunteers.
Zhou Jingyi has donated her bone marrow stem cells twice to save the same person, giving the recipients another second chance at life.
检查到有坏细胞，
坏细胞。
对，想说这么辛苦的移植，为什么又会复发呢？
Her child was diagnosed with the disease when he was a senior high student. After he received a successful pairing and went through the stem cell transplant, the disease relapsed again. Thankfully, the donor was willing to donate her lymphocytes once again.
感谢对方真的无私的奉献，自己在人生当中
Being able to do such a good deed in my life, which other people may not be able to do, I think my life is valuable.
我酒喝那么多，烟抽那么多，东西还可以用吗？
Before Wu Weichen found a successful match, he drank alcohol and smoked almost every day. In order to donate healthy stem cells to the recipients, he quits all of these bad habits.
If you want to donate your bone marrow, your health may be examined at any time. I was afraid that alcohol may be found in my body. It's been a long time and I haven't seen my recipient after I donated my bone marrow, so I was wondering whether I saved the recipient or not. I feel very happy today.
Seeing that the recipient lives a healthy life and continues to dedicate himself to education, this is the best feedback for the donor.
In our next report, we'll meet a former leukemia patient who successfully underwent stem cell transplant in Taiwan. Huang Caiti, who's 38 years old, was diagnosed with acute leukemia when she was 29. Through the help of Tzu Chi's marrow donor data bank, she found a matching donor.
Normal people have 5,000 to 10,000 white blood cells. Back then, I had only 1,000. After marrow extraction, we needed to press and control the bleeding for 40 minutes. After 20 minutes, the doctor came over and said, "Ms. Huang, I'm sorry, but it is acute leukemia." My brother went to Taiwan University Hospital for a blood test, and the doctor said there was no match. Later, I waited for the third match. Now my blood, white and red blood cells, and platelets are all produced by the stem cells this donor gave me. I cannot let my parents lose their child. I felt that in the past I lacked wisdom and was not filial or considerate enough, so I cannot let them live with such pain and sorrow.
After Caiti fell ill, Tzu Chi volunteers who are not related to us have cared for us. They are great helpers in our lives.
When she almost could not continue fighting against her illness, I said, "No, you must get well. You have not yet become a true Tzu Chi volunteer. You must hold on. You said you want to get well and help more people."
Back then, I placed a picture of Master Zheng Yan on her cabinet. She would look at the master's picture every day as they would calm her down.
I also want to be Tzu Chi volunteer. I must become a Tzu Chi volunteer. At the hospitals, there are many patients waiting for a match. Thank you for helping out. I must say thank you on their behalf.
Her illness was very severe and we encountered a lot of difficulties in treating her. However, she is now cured and even following Master Zheng Yan and helping other people, giving back to society. I can only say this is a miracle.
Back then, I received a call within half a year telling me there was a match. We were very surprised. As the Tzu Chi sister told me, we might wait for a long time before a match. I'm also a mother, and I think if this had happened to my child and someone's willing to donate their stem cells, I would be grateful as well.
I think Mom is great as she is willing to do this. She has also influenced our family. No one opposed to this as I think this do not affect our life but can benefit other people.
TIMA has been operating for decades, and throughout its history, the role of pharmacists has always been important. In addition to dispensing medicine, they must also make preparations for the clinic. Here's more.
药局的话是先从中华路，然后再到武昌街。那从中华路那边开始的时候，大概是民国40几年。我们家有3兄弟啊，我排老二，爸爸就想说啊，这个店总要有人接嘛。 就跟我讲说叫我去念药学系啊。
After graduating from the pharmacy department, I began running this business, and I later married a woman who is also a pharmacist and who helps run the business.
This 60-year-old couple is responsible for running this pharmacy, which also has 60 years of history, which is their family legacy.
比较对八人会比较有。昨天你就应该今天去给医生看一下就好了。
上班来不及了，真的。以后你这个门面要那个呢，
尤其是年轻的小姐啊。
很令人破相呢。
For this person who was wounded during a fall, a bandage and some medicine was added, as well as some words of encouragement from this compassionate pharmacist.
Boss, you're so good and compassionate that my wound is already beginning to feel better.
我心里就觉得一直很乖，很想说要帮一点忙，所以我后来就自己看到那个我们人医会有在缺药师，我就自己跟谢药师讲说，我们两个去参加好不好？
After the 9/21 earthquake, the couple joined TEMA and have actively volunteered their service. Whenever pharmacists are needed, they respond and they prepare the drugs needed for the weekend clinic.
药局啊，就是这些药，其实就是医生的那个弹药库，这样他的武器嘛。
Our pharmacy is the munitions depot for doctors. We stock up, and when they needed it, we won't face any shortage.
Working hard to put medicine into this box, a quick check is carried out to see if any of the drugs are expired. This preparation is needed for the clinic to smoothly get underway. This is the purpose that has inspired this couple to carry out the tradition of pharmacists.
We also hope that the young people can pick up this work and feel the benefit from volunteering.
Early on, TEMA's free clinics were mostly carried out by doctors and nurses. It wasn't until 1985 when Hualien County's #1 pharmacist Xie Wei-Ching joined the ranks of these clinics that pharmacists truly join in. These senior TEMA doctors and local volunteers carry out this clinic along with a pharmacist who has been serving for just 2 months and has already completed 6 missions.
The first time I went to a patient's home, I was quite scared as I learned that they really need more help in rural areas.
Elderly people living alone in rural areas need to be reminded about the correct dosage of medication and how to take it. This is the most important responsibility of pharmacists.
We can be next to them and learn what type of medicine they are taking and can talk to doctors about changes in medications.
吃完饭再吃哦哈。一天是3餐吗？3餐。它这个剂量比较高，所以1天2次就可以。好的。好。
At this free clinic, patients can take a look at this cartoon, which is printed on a bag for the medicine, which reminds them about preventative medicine and how it could prevent illness.
The Ministry of Health and Welfare is now promoting how to safely consume medicine. After more than a decade of promotion, there has been dramatic improvement.
With Tzu Chi's active involvement in medicine for 45 years, pharmacists have played an important role assisting physicians, nurses, and volunteers treat the general public. A stronger medical team is the best way to safeguard the health of the public.
The first Tzu Chi exchange camp for the entrepreneurs in Malaysia and Indonesia was recently held in Malaysia. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.